Salutations, sinners, and happy Pride Month. Even though the month has only just begun, the streets are already decked out with an explosion of colors, and there's a buzzing excitement in the air. I suppose, as we are the Pride Ring, it only makes sense for us to go all out on a month specifically dedicated to Pride, even if the two prides have different meanings. Still, I never cared too much for the festivities, as there are too many bright, garish colors, too many screams of joy and not enough screams of terror, and I thought the celebration never pertained to me. Although recently I've been told I'm something called asexual, with no space between the A and S, so I suppose we'll see if my relationship with Pride has changed. Anywho, I have 2 letters to read today. As I have mentioned before, if you mail a letter to 666 YouTube Comment Street, and there is nothing too revolting in your letter, I will read it and respond to it here on my broadcast. Now, the first letter is from Vanille Angel and reads, Question for Al, do you ever care for Vox? Vox was once a demon I enjoyed the company of. I found him entertaining, and I sensed some potential in him as an overlord. However, I of course never cared for him. Feelings and companions only make one weak, especially if they are trying to become an overlord in hell. I do miss that time, though, before Vox spoiled it all by trying to drag me into a partnership and proving that he needed to rely on others to ever make anything of himself. We used to frequent the Burning Brimstone's bar, and it was nice to talk and drink. He was quite interesting back in those days, kind of like a dog, viciously killing those in his way one moment, and then looking back as if he expected me to say good boy the next. It was almost endearing, but no, I never cared for him. I'm more of a cat person anyways. Moving on, the second letter contains a bombardment of questions from the alias Broken Comedy Mask, which I will address part by part. Dear Strawberry Pimp, what can we expect from you now that you have unlocked your full power? Can we expect you to outsmart more people in the future? Telling you what's to come would spoil the surprise of everything, and where's the fun in that? But I suppose I can tell you that now things will be a lot more exciting. There will be a lot more screams and carnage broadcasted, and yes, I will be outsmarting more people. Continuing with the letter, how would you react if I took a video of you? Let's just say that I could break you even more than you are now, Broken Comedy Mask, if you dare try such a thing. If I shout Ace in the Hole, would that offend you? I might be annoyed at loudly being called out in such a way. However, it is not the term itself that is an affront. As I stated, I recently learned what the phrase means, and although I am disappointed that I am not uniquely above such dirty emotions, I see nothing wrong with being an ace in the hole. If you were a human, would you date me? Even if I were a human and could feel any kind of love, I don't even know you, sweetheart. And that goes for anyone else foolishly thinking of confessing their love. I am not interested in going on a date with anyone, unless that date is you being freshly sliced, cooked, and served on a plate in front of me. Do you think you're capable of redemption? Absolutely not. Finally, can you give me some food? Signed, Broken Comedy Mask. Since I'm feeling a bit starved myself, if you stop by the Hasman Hotel later today, I'll let you have a serving of the jambalaya I'll be whipping up after this broadcast. It's my mother's special recipe, and it cannot be beat by anything else. That is all of the new letters I have received since my last broadcast. To reiterate, anyone, including those who have previously sent me letters, is free to send me new questions, quotes, compliments, or even critiques to read aloud on my next radio show. Now it's time to transition to the endorsement segment of my broadcast, which is ripe with 2 months' worth of updates, since I unfortunately did not have time for this section in May. As I'm sure most of you are aware, I am in cahoots with Rosie's Emporium, a delightful shop stocked with goods from clothing to food to perfume. They also offer services such as quick advice or more in-depth consultations. Since April, the shop has been quite busy, especially with their Mother's Day sale and with summer approaching. Although you can no longer buy any of their special boutiques, glassware, or tokens of appreciation from the sale, everything flew off the shelf so quickly, and our final order for the sale was completely sold out by 9 a.m. on May 11th. There is a plethora of summer essentials to purchase. There are refreshingly modest swimsuits, stylish sun hats, sunscreen fit for the fires of hell, a variety of summer treats to beat the heat, and just about any other summer-related item you could think of. I am also affiliated with Outer Space, a store owned by ACG Goods. Over the past few months, some new merchandise has been added. The sticker and keychain with me eating a heart-shaped box of chocolates have returned to shelves for the month because the purple heart that was part of the design is actually the asexuality flag colors. Furthermore, there is another asexuality-related design which features a character named Herbert West. The name sounds vaguely familiar, however it appears the character is from a movie series, so I have no idea why his name is ringing a bell. I also worked with Outer Space to manufacture a sticker, standee, and poster of myself, and I think they all turned out quite well. Finally, the store recently made a sticker, keychain, and standee of Carmilla Carmine, with her as the color guard saber and marching band. That is all that is currently in store as of this moment. However, I heard that they will be adding more merchandise, with at least one design of box with the bisexuality flag colors. As I interviewed Miss Charlie Morningstar last episode, and that episode was only 20 days ago, as opposed to the usual 30 or so, there aren't any important updates for the happenings of our hotel. Still, if you, for some reason, are in the mood to try and better yourself, pay the hotel a visit and tell the front desk that the radio demon sent you. Lucifer is again being an annoying thorn in my side about not helping out the hotel enough. Well, that is all I have for this broadcast. I apologize for its shorter length, however that only means the next episode will be all the more entertaining. After all, one cannot know the true value of pain if one has never experienced pleasure. With that said, remember to smile, my dears, for you're never fully dressed without one, and don't you forget to tune on in next time for some more delightful entertainment.